The topic of this podcast episode is no comment, specifically the power of having no comment. One of the things that I have talked about that I did a lot as Keith 1.0, I did two things. I complained all the time and I judged almost everything. People, life situations, you name it, I judged it. As Eckhart Tolle says, a grievance looking for a cause. It didn't matter what it was. I was going to have an opinion on it, and I was going to judge it and or complain about it. So one of the things that has been really helpful for me has been anytime something comes up, it doesn't. I don't have to rely on this tool as much now because I've been practicing it for quite a while. But let's say a couple of years ago, something would happen. I would immediately start to go into this conditioned behavior, this unconscious behavior that I've done most of my life. And what I would do is start to judge it. Didn't matter what it was. People would say something. I was like, that's not right. Or are you sure about that? Or no, let me tell you the way it is. And I may not say it out loud, but internally I'm having this conversation. Or I'm complaining about something, from the weather to policies in the workplace, to colleagues, to relationships. I'm judging everything about how they should handle it differently, how you should parent, how you should live your life. I got an opinion about it all. I mean, you name it, I got an opinion about it. And then, I realized what was the cost of that. The cost of that kind of unconscious, repetitive behavior was me putting up barriers between me and other people. It was also erecting barriers between my experience of life and the way that life was unfolding. And so I wasn't present at all. I was somewhere living out this narrative that I was spinning at the same time. And then I said, what's a way that I can get on top of this? And what it was not even having, let's say, if I had a negative comment or judgment, not even having a positive comment or judgment, but especially with the negative ones. What I start to say is, to my voice that's always talking, that never stops talking, that always has an opinion. I like this, I don't like this. This is too hot. This is not hot enough. I go into a restaurant, like, I can't believe that the lighting in here is so poor. Or can you believe this person thinks this way? Or can you believe what's happening in this person's life? Just all of this stuff. I mean, you name it, I was doing it. And then when that thing would come up inside of me, what I learned to say was, no comment. I'm not commenting on that. And immediately my focus would shift from whatever my ego was fixated on, and I would move on to something else. And it would be really positive. Like those two small words became a clearing. Like, so and it's been really good for me here recently, over the last 18 months with this COVID-19 pandemic. And so something would happen where somebody would mask or not mask. In the past, I would have a strong opinion about that in vaccinations. Now, when someone says something and my ego wants to have no comment, we're not commenting on that, and just leave it there. How somebody feels about social justice may be supportive. Another person may think that they're maybe not supportive. I go with, yeah, no comment. Like, it's freeing to not have to have a comment or a judgment about everything that happens, about every person. And in doing so, I continue to have this opening in which I'm able to be peaceful and continue to be kind and loving to everyone I come in contact with. I can be accepting about situations that I would normally be hostile toward. And I can experience more of life. I can really experience more of life, and it allows me to see the good where I would have been unable to before. That has really, really served me well, because a lot of the way that I lived my life before was snap judgments that were all based on the way that I was conditioned as from childhood to life experiences. And I've had a lot of practice at being inaccurate about my ability to evaluate or judge things correctly. So I think that my ego thinks that I'm really good about reading people. Oh, I can feel their energy. I'm intuitive. I can tell this, all this other stuff. I got a bad feeling about that. Now, I'm almost always wrong about it. Almost always wrong. If I went back and rolled the tape of my life about how many snap judgments I've made, I've almost been wrong. I used to be the king of saying no to everything. Someone would say something that was in my best interest, and like, hey, you want to go to this event? No, I don't want to go. For some reason, I end up going. I have the best time. Like that happens more times than I have an awful time somewhere. Almost always have a good time because once I get there, I warm up. But now, no matter where I go, I'm going to be fine because I'm choosing to be fine. If I say yes to it, I'm all in. But I'm inaccurate about how I read people too. Like I read people like, you know what, I heard this about this person, or, they are from this town, or they're this biological race, gender, whatever the thing that we as human beings have a tendency to do. And then I come back like, you know what, that person was all right. Like I can hang out with them again, or we could be friends or something like that, because it completely allowed my prejudice, my bias to help me make a decision about someone, an evaluation about someone, a judgment, which is all, again, almost inaccurate. So what has been really helpful of allowing me not to make that kind of mistake about anybody has been no comment. And if you want an opportunity to practice this, practice it with celebrities, whether it's athletes or actors. Politicians are perfect. When something happens with a politician in the news, whether and it's a person that, let's say, you didn't vote for, and you hear the headline on the news or someone says something to you about it, to yourself, you say, no comment. And watch yourself just settle down, as opposed to joining in on the collective chorus of about that particular political figure. Like just watch how that changes. Or do with a coworker. Somebody starts to say some negative things about a coworker, or a policy at work, and internally, all you saying is no comment, and watch the way things settle down. And then if you have to say something, you are more likely to have those words come from a centered, peaceful space. You can practice it with your children. They do their grades aren't where they could be because of them not being dedicated to and committed to studying in a way that helps them perform better at school, or they do something in terms of their behavior that is against your values. That for a moment, before you get reactive, you can just say, I'm going to settle down for a second. I'm not going to have a comment about this situation until I am rooted in being peaceful. And then I'll take intelligent action. But it's much better to take action from that space than another space in which you are probably not going to be your best parenting moment, I want to say. So again, just really easy. It's 2 words. When things come up that you disagree with, your ego disagrees with, just say no comment and watch the magic of this. I'm telling you, I love to hear back from you and know how it works in your life, but just stay with it. And it's going to try to say something like, no comment, no comment. You don't, no comment. That's it.